Yes, sir. You will float too. That's a fact. That is a fact, man. With that being said, you already know what it is. We are back here. There's some more game on the ground from Hungry House. We just got the pound and are ready for the next round. So with that being said, make sure you grab your snacks, your drinks, your weed, whatever the case may be, because we finna jump right into this episode. Now y'all can see the title of this episode. We got two different things that we're gonna be looking at. A video that came out I think a day or two ago caught my attention. I wanted to check it out. Yesterday. This is by somebody named Capturing Christianity. He got like 371,000 subscribers on YouTube. But he made a video talking about, this dude that came out claiming to be the successor of Jesus Christ and all that. So I'm curious to see what his take is on it. He said that he made some pretty crazy claims and all that. So we're going to see what he has that he's going to show us. Shout out to everybody up in here watching it. And after that, we're going to look at some. If you guys want to read toxic comments, people arguing with each other over the dumbest things, go to a car video comment section. Mostly, like American muscle cars, like Mustangs, Chargers, and Camaros, because people argue with each other in those comment sections, just being toxic. So we're going to check out some of that just to kind of get a little bit of a laugh. But first of all, we're going to look at this right here. So with that being said, let's get into it, man. I'm going to turn the playback speed up a little bit. Boom. All right, let's get into it, man.
Christian belief, even when that means addressing some pretty wild claims. But if you find value in our content, consider supporting us at capturingchristianity.com/donate. Now let's jump straight into this bizarre situation and see exactly what Abdullah is now claiming, why it's so problematic, and why it actually matters for you. Before we dive into Abdullah's newest response, let's quickly recap who this guy is, what he's been up to lately, because trust me, this story is absolutely insane. So Abdullah Hashem, also known as Abba al-Sadiq, claims to be the Mahdi, a messianic figure prophesied in Islam. But he doesn't stop there. He also claims that he's the true pope, the rightful successor to both Jesus and Muhammad. On Easter Sunday, some of his followers raised banners, at least sort of black flags, right at the heart of Catholicism in Vatican City itself, proclaiming allegiance to Abdullah and explicitly calling Pope Francis a false pope. Now, as you might have guessed, plenty of Christians, including myself, have openly pushed back against his claims. And recently, Abdullah directly responded to us. So in this video we're going to take a look at today, he doubles down by claiming two distinct miracles, prove he's legit. He issues a dire warning about an impending disaster specifically aimed at Christians, and yes, he directly addresses critics like myself. But remember to stay to the end, because the challenge I'm going to issue to Abdullah is not just important, it's something he absolutely needs to respond to if he's serious about this. All right, let's jump into this first clip from Abdullah, and just listen carefully to what he claims here, because it's actually pretty astonishing.
And so this very special banner was raised in front of the television cameras and in front of the entire world on Easter Sunday, just hours before the Pope passes away. And the believers that were there, they were wearing shirts that proclaimed that there was a new Pope, a legitimate Pope, that the true heir and successor of Jesus Christ and Simon Peter and the prophets and the messengers, the true Pope of Christianity and Islam and all religions, is actually here, and he's the riser from the family of Muhammad. And so for that proclamation to take place from the very home of Catholicism, right, and it to result in a few hours later in the Pope passing away, this is not a coincidence. This is a miracle, like many miracles that have taken place in the Bible.
What I want to know is, what does this dude have actually done to convince people to believe that he's the real deal? Because I haven't seen anything, and I'm sure if there really was, these miracles that he was doing, there would be people all over the internet making videos about it, whether it's like explanation videos or dissecting the clips or whatever, dissecting the claims that he's made. I haven't seen anybody making any videos, claiming that they saw him or even any videos at all of him actually doing these miracles. I haven't seen any. I don't know about y'all. So that's what makes me curious to know, what has he really done to get these people to believe that he's the real deal.
Was seen as a testament of God, whereby God said that Abu Sadiq is my choice. My choice is the riser from the family of Muhammad. I am enforcing the statement of the believers that they made on that day by clarifying to everybody that this pope is false. I shall remove him. In my power, in my hands are the power to all things. Rulership is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the banner says allegiance is to God. It also means that God is the king of all things. He's the owner of all things. And so God has the authority to grant kingship to whom he wills and remove kingship from whom he wills. And in this case, after the proclamation of the believers, he removed kingship and removed the crown off of the head of the false pope, the impostor, Francis.
So Abdullah is claiming that because his followers raised banners proclaiming him as the legitimate pope right before Pope Francis died, that this somehow constitutes a divine miracle confirming his legitimacy. There are at least 3 problems with this. Okay, so first, Abdullah isn't even close to being the first Islamic leader to raise a black banner claiming prophetic or messianic status. I mean, have we already forgotten about ISIS? Like, they raised a black flag, but raising one doesn't automatically equal divine endorsement, right? Secondly, correlation does not equal...
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I forgot about ISIS. Like, I legit forgot that they even existed at one point. When Trump wiped them out in his first presidency, his first term. Like, I legit forgot about them.
Causation. So just because his followers raised some banners shortly before the Pope's death doesn't mean that those banners caused the death. Like, if I sneeze and then lightning strikes outside, it doesn't make me Thor. Third, in conclusion, we actually have a rigorous way of identifying genuine miracles.
That's facts, bro. Like, anybody can easily say that's what that means. You know? Like, it's easy for any... You know, it's just like what Jesus said right before he healed the lame dude. He said, who is this who speaks blasphemies? Who, on whose authority does he do these things? He says, I'm paraphrasing, by the way. He said, it's easy to say anything, but to show you, so that you may know that the Son of Man has the authority to forgive sins. He made the claims, but following through with those claims, he physically showed that he had the authority to make those claims. This dude, all he's doing is making claims, but hasn't shown any physical, authority like Jesus did. So
it's called the Lambertini criteria, and Protestants actually use it as well. One major part of that criteria is that there can't be a plausible natural explanation. But Pope Francis has been seriously ill and declining in health for months. His passing was completely expected, naturally, regardless of Abdullah's followers waving little black flags around Vatican City. Now, Abdullah hasn't directly responded to my criticisms yet. He's saving that for later, but trust me, the way that he tries to spin his response later in the video is genuinely mind-melting, so you don't want to miss it. In the next clip, Abdullah doubles down. He claims that this event was not only miraculous, but that it required him to give a sermon validating the supposed miracle for his followers. Listen closely to how he spins this.
So this was a great miracle, and it led to me basically coming up to give a sermon to the believing community. And that sermon was intended to validate the miracle that had taken place. And in that sermon, I addressed the Christians worldwide in order that I may let them know that that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who appoints the leader. And God appoints a pope, he appoints an imam, he appoints a vicegerent, a representative in every day and age, and to let them know that I am that person that they are obliged to follow. Right? Every divinely appointed prophet or messenger has a job, and their job is to lead people to God. And in the process of leading people to God, they have to proclaim that they are messengers from God, or else why would the people obey them? Why would the people follow them? And this is exactly what we see happening with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came out and he identifies himself as a messenger from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, I'm receiving revelations from God. I'm the messenger of God. And he demonstrates his proofs. The same thing with Jesus, the same thing with Moses and Noah and every prophet and messenger that has ever been sent to mankind.
But what has this dude done to prove that he is, what he says he is, besides making a statement after the Pope died. Like, if you break it down, really, that's all that he did was make a statement after the Pope died. And he's saying that that statement is proof that he is who he says he is. Like, there's no proof in that, bro. Anybody could make a statement after the Pope died saying that they're the next Pope.
So I had to do the same with the Christians, and that served as that moment for the Christian world, and that was the intention behind the sermon. That was why I gave the sermon. That was the reasoning behind God sending me forth and commanding me to speak those words which he placed in my mouth, and that's exactly what it is that I did.
In this clip, Abdullah claims that his sermon validated this miracle, and then insists that Christians worldwide are now obligated to follow him because, according to him, only God appoints a leader. But there are at least two problems with this. Okay, first, the miracle that Abdullah claims happened, again, is clearly no miracle at all. A natural explanation is glaringly obvious in this case. The Pope was elderly, he was sick, and his passing was entirely predictable. Abdullah claiming divine intervention here is like me predicting the sunrise tomorrow morning and then claiming it's a divine miracle when it actually happens. Second, and even more fundamentally though, his entire claim that Christians must follow him as Jesus' successor completely collapses under scrutiny. Like, as I carefully explained in my previous videos on this, Jesus had no successors. Christians believe that Jesus Christ is still alive today. He resurrected and he's reigning as king forever.
Indeed, he said anybody who comes preaching a different doctrine, they are not of God. They are preaching blasphemy. Such as if an angel came preaching a different doctrine, that angel is wrong. Let him be cursed.
He doesn't need a successor because he isn't dead. He defeated death itself. So Abdullah's claim that Christians must follow him because he's the somehow successor to Jesus is absolute nonsense. It fundamentally misunderstands Christianity and what Christians actually believe. But stick around because what comes next might just be the most astonishing claim that he's made yet. Let's talk about his second miracle.
Now, after that, a second miracle took place, and that is that God took that sermon. He didn't have to give it enforcement. He didn't have to give it attention, but he made sure that that sermon was heard by everybody around the world. For the past days, I don't think that there has been a conversation that was taking place on the world stage that was bigger than this one. Although most of it was mocking and most of it was name calling and most of it was rejection, it doesn't matter. What took place was that the proof was established over the people.
It's also easy knowing that the algorithms within the system is ran by a controlled group of people who work for a specific entity who seeks the destruction of the world. It's easy for them to manipulate it into the algorithm because they control what goes into the algorithm. So maybe it was their plan to make it go viral as a way of deceiving people.
The excuse was removed from the people. Nobody could say now that they were not aware that God had sent forward a messenger, or that they were not aware that there was this individual who was proclaiming himself to be a proof over the Christians. The Christians couldn't go to God on Judgment Day, and when God asks them, why didn't you follow the shepherd that I sent to you? Why didn't you follow the imam of the time? They can't say, oh, well, we never heard about it. Right. They heard about it, and God made sure that they heard about it, and God recorded each and every one of their responses to what it is that they heard.
Okay, let's pause right here because this claim is objectively absurd. All right, his video, the one containing the supposed earth-shattering sermon, currently sits at around 165,000 views. Let's assume generously for a second that every single view represents a unique individual, which, spoiler alert, it doesn't, okay? Even in that wildly optimistic scenario, his sermon has only reached approximately 0.002% of the entire world's population. That's not remotely close to, quote, everyone around the world. And then when Abdullah boldly claims that there's no bigger conversation happening right now, it just shows how completely out of touch this guy is with reality. I mean, just think about it. We are currently witnessing the real world events surrounding the election of a legitimate new Catholic Pope. Okay, this is a real world global event, and it's being covered by literally every major news outlet on the planet. President Trump was there. There's a lot of things going on, and it's being watched by millions worldwide.
And guess what? none of these outlets are covering him, so to speak. This imam dude. None of these outlets are covering what he said. They're not, I guess, posting what he said. They're not making stories about what he said. Nothing.
Millions, not 165,000 people on YouTube. The fact that Abdullah genuinely believes this shows, I think, just how insulated he is and how insulated his followers have become. He's living, like, obviously in a carefully constructed bubble. But the wildest part of Abdullah's response isn't even here yet. Up next, he makes a theological mistake so fundamental that it literally collapses his legitimacy. Trust me, you definitely want to hear this.
And that's why, in Catholicism especially, but really in all of Christianity, there is in the Gospels this scene where basically Jesus tells Peter that he is his rock, that he's going to build his church upon. And he grants Simon Peter the keys to the heavens and to the earth. And he tells him that whatever he binds on earth shall be bound in heaven. And so he gives him authority, divine authority, right? Religious authority and earthly authority, right? To rule as a successor of Jesus. That's why the Pope wears a crown and why he has his own country, his own state, right? Vatican City. And then why he used to rule over the Roman Empire, because it is believed that the successors of Jesus are given earthly authority and heavenly authority. Well, it's the same concept that we believe in, but we believe that for every day and age, there is somebody from the time of Adam all the way till the end, that the sunnah, or the way, the method of God is one. From the beginning till the end of time, God will always have a divinely appointed king. He had many of them, starting with Adam all the way to Jesus, to Simon Peter, and he continued to have somebody from Simon Peter onwards until the end of time. Or
I don't think that's what he meant by when he said, on this rock I will build my church. He gave all of his disciples and everybody who believes in him authority to trample over the serpents. I don't think that's what he meant. This guy is like nitpicking certain things and trying to twist it to better fit what he believes his purpose is. And it's just all sounding like a bunch of, nonsense, so to speak.
Or until our current time, and the same thing will continue until the very end of time.
All right, Abdullah just made a crucial mistake here, and it completely dismantles his entire claim to fame. First, Peter is not a successor to Jesus. As I've already stated, Christians, especially Catholics, have never taught that Peter replaced or succeeded Jesus. In Matthew 16, where he's quoting from, where Jesus gives Peter the keys of the kingdom, he's echoing Isaiah 22, a scene from the Old Testament, where Eliakim is given keys as the king's prime minister or royal steward. Eliakim wasn't the successor to the king. He wasn't like another king. He was the king's chief representative. That's exactly Peter's role, okay, at least according to Catholics. He's not succeeding Jesus as king. He's stewarding Christ's authority. In Christianity, Jesus remains eternally alive and reigning as king right now. Like, he doesn't have successors because he doesn't need successors. He conquered death and is still alive today, like right now. Second, and this is important, you guys have to catch this, Abdullah's whole claim collapses when you understand this basic theology, all right? Think about it. If Peter wasn't Jesus' successor, then Abdullah definitely wasn't his successor. Abdullah's entire narrative is built on a completely false premise. And by the way, this interpretation isn't just a Catholic thing, okay? Eastern Orthodox and Protestant Christians also believe that Jesus reigns forever without any successors. So Abdullah is literally missing the point of Christianity itself, not just Catholic theology. This misunderstanding is not a small detail, right? It's massive. It destroys the foundation of Abdullah's entire claim to authority. And once you grasp this, his entire persona completely falls apart. Now that we've seen his foundational error, up next, Abdullah finally gives...
Well, it's like I said, he's nitpicking different parts of scripture and twisting it to fit his own personal narrative and who he thinks that he's supposed to be.
His direct response, his dramatic warning to Christians like me, and it's seriously worth sticking around just to see how extreme and manipulative this gets.
There is a great punishment that is coming. I'm here to warn everybody that there is an incredible punishment that is coming down upon mankind, the likes that they have never seen before. They have no idea how severe it will be. It is so severe that the living will pass by graves and wish that they were dead. This is what is mentioned in the narrations, and it is all due to all of the conflicts and all of the evil that's existing in the world right now. It's because people abandoned the divinely appointed messenger of their time. They ignored him. They didn't want to know him. They mocked him. They belied him, and they chose false leaders and false teachers and false rulers that were from the devil. And these false leaders and these false teachers and these false rulers pit the people against one another. They were blind leading the blind. And so they ended up creating wars and creating disasters and creating new laws and commandments and changing the laws of God and changing everything that is good and perverting justice. And they caused so much tyranny and oppression to take place on the planet that the people now that are alive, all of the different sins that existed previously, that previous nations were destroyed over, it's all taking place today. So the sins of every nation, all of it is taking place today on the planet. And the tyrants that were like Pharaoh and Nimrod, and tyrants that are worse than them, are all here today on the planet. And for that reason, because of the oppressed, because of the widows, because of the orphans, because of the people that are being slaughtered, because of the cries of the innocent, God has sent down his angels to enforce me on this very particular mission. And the narrations say that the Qa'im from the family of Muhammad, the Mahdi, is enforced. He has with him Gabriel on his right, and he has with him Michael on his left, and he has the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ahead of him, and he has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with him, and he has Raphael, the archangel, behind him. And
oh my gosh, bro. The thing that cracks me up is this dude is trying to twist, not, I guess you could say twist, but he's trying to take two different quote unquote religions and fuse them together. Talking about Michael, Gabriel, and then the Muslim God ahead of him and the two angels next to him. Like, bro, you cannot make this up. You can't make this up. Now, I could see this as it being a wake-up call to some people to get their life on track, to get back on track, spiritually wise. But most of it, bro, like trying to take two different gods and fuse them together, it's just not, it doesn't work. God does not play with other gods. He does not rule next to other gods. He rules as the one God. He doesn't rule next to Allah and all these other, lowercase g gods. He doesn't. And you can't take the two and fuse them together like that. It doesn't work.
And that is the message that is very important that I need to deliver to mankind.
All right, let's be crystal clear about this. All right, what Abdullah is doing here is straight from the cult leader playbook. Historically, figures claiming unique divine authority often leverage fear and impending doom to gain followers and maintain control. And Abdullah isn't doing anything new here. A concrete example of this exact same thing is the infamous cult leader Harold Camping, who in 2011 predicted that Judgment Day would occur on May 21st. Camping warned people worldwide that anyone who didn't accept his teachings would face unimaginable destruction. Thousands of people believed this guy, some even quitting their jobs and selling their possessions. And guess what happened when May 21st came and went without incident?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. It left a trail of disillusioned and devastated followers behind. This manipulation tactic using fear and punishment is literally a textbook example of how cult leaders operate. In contrast, though, authentic Christianity is fundamentally different. It's not centered around manipulating fear or judgment to control people. Instead, it's centered around a message of hope, of forgiveness, and redemption through Christ, who conquered death itself. So Abdullah's warning to Christians isn't groundbreaking prophecy. It's a page from a very old, very tired playbook. He wants to convince you that terrible punishment awaits anyone who rejects him, but history has taught us very clearly that anyone claiming special divine authority who relies on fear and threats rather than genuine truth is not someone that you should trust. But Abdullah isn't finished yet. Okay, next he insists that we believe him because he's sincere? Let's examine this claim very closely.
As far as them mocking me or threatening me or wanting to do something to me,
straight madness, bro. Like, you can't make it up.
Or any consequences that my speech has, I do not care about that. What I care about is fulfilling the mission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And certainly, as you know, I have nothing to gain. And you've been with me for over a decade now. And so you've seen the progression of the entire dawah. And you know that I own no properties in my name. I don't own any home. I don't own a car. I don't own any money. There's nothing that I have for myself or my wife or my children. I've dedicated everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I own nothing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns all things. And the dawah is the only entity that owns anything that the believers use, like this property that we're in here right now, and the cameras that are filming us, and all of that belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I would not throw myself on the world stage in this way to be famous. There's nothing to be happy about, to be famous, to be a false prophet, or to be famous, to be called an antichrist, or to be famous, to be abused in this way. This is not, if I was false, why would I do that? I wouldn't want to leave such a nasty.
Well, I mean, tons of people have made false claims in pursuit of fame and fortune. So, I mean, you never know, dude. But yeah, that's your boy. Still on his madness rant. We're gonna move on to the next topic, which is these toxic comment sections, bro. I seen a comment. I think it was on this video that I left a long time ago on one of my other accounts, and there were some people that were in their feelings. So right here, look, here we go. I said another dub for the Stang Boys, and he said fake. He says, so you're telling me a car that runs 11 seconds gets beat by a car that runs 13 seconds from the factory? Not hardly. And this other dude comes in. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Give me a sec, y'all. Give me a sec. Where's it at? And this other dude came in and he said, cry more, Stang's on top. And this other dude came in and said, get back in the Prius. Like, bro, these comment sections, if you want toxicity, go to a car comment section, bro. Them Hellcats are slow trash. My supercharged 5.0 walks them easily. Bro, people will argue with each other over which car is faster. It is crazy. Make all the excuses you want. That 5.0 is in a, meaning not available, meaning it's not factory. Just with full bolt on an E85 and can beat the supercharged tank. This dude said stop the cap. Nah, it would. Yeah, no worries. Upper pulley will take care of that. Then comes all the crying about how it's not fair. That's a scat pack. No wine and the headlights. I'm not a Hellcat. Full bolt on ain't necessary. Just cat delete or header with E85 and it's done. Bro, these people be cooking each other, bro. That is hilarious. Look, this other dude. I'm only here to read the comments from these Dodge fanboys. You can't make it up. You can't make it up, bro. And look, this same dude from before is still crying in other people's comments, bro. Once again, the 5.0 marking territory. Once again, fake stock. I don't know what a 50 Mustang is. Runs 13.2. Runs 13.2 in a quarter mile. The Hellcat runs 11. No, not hardly more fake Mustang. So you're mad and probably don't have either. Cry about it. They usually mark their territory with parts scattered all over the road. Yeah, well, that's just people who don't know how to control a car. That's people who don't know how to control a car in any car. More Dodge Motors crash more than Ford Mustangs nowadays. Oh man, you can't make this up, bro. Wrong. The 10-speed 5.0 is an 11-second car from the factory. Back. And that's when that is supercharger installed. Oh man. Your kitty cats have a high seat right now. Even in the day, Max Wedge and all had a run. That being said, you wouldn't even know you could slap puffers on a V8 supercharged if we didn't show you 25 years of supercharged Mustangs alone. We've been putting blowers on trucks. You'll find your future in EV. Oh man, this is hilarious, bro. The 10-speed 5.0 beats Hellcats. Get used to it, buddy. Oh man. Let's see, what else are they crashing out over? No, a 10-speed 5.0 is running below 12 stock from the factory. Regular Scat Pack can run an 11.7, and the 1320 Scat can run 11.4. A Hellcat in eco mode. Many Hellcat owners that post vids of them smoking FBO E85 tune stanks. Cause mad the Hellcat's heavier than cows. Bro, these people have the goofiest comebacks ever. Crashing out over cars is crazy. Bro, it is the funniest thing ever. Yeah, I know. I was late. I didn't even forgot what the time was. Prowley, I don't know what Prowley is. Prowley, the first gens or second, but then 10 speeds 5.0 just with a tune gaps Hellcats by a bus. I'm not even lying. It's the transmission that makes them fast. So basically 2018, 2023, 5.0 gap Hellcats, but 2017 and under they have 6 gears and slower than the 10 speeds. That's tough. Everyone here is forgetting that RPG has ran. I don't know what RPG is. Has ran 7s with the 3rd gen Coyote that had billet OPGs and the turbo kit. Only factory sealed midnight performance builds. Okay, I don't know what that dude's going on about. He said, "Bud." He said, "Bud." Bud, gears don't mean anything. A 4-bang with 4 gears that's built with smoke or 10 speed. Hellcats have certain modes, and if not in a certain mode, it's not going to perform as good. So, like the Hellcat in this bid was more than likely in eco mode, and eco mode is the worst mode to be in when it comes to racing. That sounds like a whole bunch of excuses to me. A Hellcat ain't not yet gets gapped by Hellcat ain't NA yet gets gapped by NAs. Anyone can get a loan for a Hellcat. That's why you losers keep in factory because you're scared to void your warranty. Oh, dude, this is hilarious. That or their payments are $1,800 a month because 29% approval and a credit score of 300 can't afford mod. Oh man, that is hilarious. Let's see. He said that's a scat. Anybody with that's the scat. Only Charger scats have the air intake in front like that. Anybody can get that grill. Well, of course, anybody can get that grill. How many times you see a scat with Hellcat badges? How many times have you seen a badged out vehicle? That's actually not what it is. I know I've seen them before. You can hear the supercharger. Maybe open your ears up more and listen to the audio. Because you're blind, you can clearly see them toward the end of the clip. That's definitely a scat hood. Cats have the beat of the heat extractor vents, which I don't see. Dude, that is hilarious, bro. That is hilarious. You can hear it if your ears are good. Oh man. People crack me up, bro. That people crack me up. Here come the that's not a Hellcat excuses. I listened to it with the phone to my ear thinking the same thing, but you can definitely hear the supercharged whine if you listen close enough. Bro, this dude was so invested in this that he legit put his phone up to his ear to listen to it. Even the scat whines, plus that hood seems odd to have a Hellcat with a lower trim hood. What do you mean it's a Hellkitty hood? Look them up. Mustang's probably not stopped. Then where's the evidence? It looks like a 2019. Dude, these people are legit arguing, bro. Looked again and maybe I can see them be real. That cat badge is looking at the crowd. Bro, these people crack me up. That cat badge is looking straight ahead. What are you talking about? Oh, man. Uh, you can always find toxic entertainment in a car video section. Them Dodge boys really be thinking hard. Oh, man. Usually you can hear the whine. No, you most definitely can hear a whine whether you're on the side or in front of a Hellcat. You can hear the whine of any supercharged vehicle, bro. There was a faint whine, but that Ford was loud. You gotta listen. I've watched this numerous times. Not over that screaming coyote, no sir, it ain't. Uh, had his lady in the car too. That is tough. That is tough. Never seen a Mustang pulling a Hellcat like that unless they had a Whipple too. Hey, you ain't looking in the right places, bro. Tons of vids on YouTube with NA Mustangs pulling on Hellcats. Headers, E85 and a tune, and they pull decently from Hellcats. Boosted is not even close. Don't add no stage 3 cam either. It gets ugly. Even a gutted stock 10-speed 5.0 would never in his life take a stock Hellcat Charger. Even with 3 extra passengers, the 5.0 is clearly modded. Don't be delusional. I didn't say stock. I said NA, bro. Read the bottom line. Oh, dude, it cracks me up how easily people get in their feelings, bro. He said read in all caps. Oh, he said that in all caps, bro. The bottom line, headers intake an E85 tuner 10-speed Mustang will beat a stock Hellcat. Fact. For a hell of a lot cheaper. Only way he's beating the cat NA is in the dude, and the cat is in eco mode. Without eco, I mean there's Hellcat. Without eco, I mean there's Hellcat dudes that smoke out of those FBO E85 tune stands. FBO full bolt-on 5.0 Mustang with flex and tune will not even break 600 wheel horsepower. Why would it be a stock? That's funny, bro. That is hilarious. Oh, man. Let's compare apples to apples then, dude. Go get your little kitty and race a GT 500. We all know how that turns out. Dodge is fast, but only in a straight line. They weigh a ton and nothing but one circus monkey. Oh, dude. This is hilarious, bro. But yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it, bro. Like just straight up toxicity. Oh man, that is funny. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, your mummies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. I am going to let Rev take it from here and go find something to help take care of these allergies. Deuces.
Really serious and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord to do his will, I'm that nigga.
Motherfucker, because it's my world and every motherfucking thing in it. That including your asshole too.
What if God send the devil in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit? Then motherfucker, you fucked up, huh? You fucked up, huh? You know your ass is doomed. What you got to speak? If you don't know shit to speak on this topic I'm bringing up, shut your goddamn ass up.
What do you say, Gerard? You ignorant slut.
I don't think I'm God. I ain't say I think I believe. I know, and if you study the words, you study my book, you will know I'm me too.
You didn't create the heaven and the earth, baby.
But I did. I'm that motherfucker. You know me, don't you?
Hell no, I don't want you.
You don't know me? Then shame on your goddamn ass then. Shit, I'm the motherfucker. Give a fuck what you believe in. Believe in you some goddamn Ku Klux Klans members, don't you? And house nigga, bitch-made ass, ninkum fucking poops, monkey-minded, Afrocentric motherfuckers. You won't call me and tell me your opinion.